Okay. It is 6:35 p.m. and we are ready to resume the board meeting. So the first item on our agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. And Dr. Anderson is not in the room. Fantastic. Please come up and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
All right. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. All right. So the next item on our agenda is the adoption of the agenda, and I'm looking for a motion to do just that.
I move the board adopt the agenda as presented.
Thank you, Dr. Schumacher. Do we have a second? Mrs. Bowley seconds. Any discussion? Okay, let's go ahead and open the voting rolls. Thank you, everyone. Okay, one of my favorite things, school highlights.
Oh, yours is my favorite thing. Oh, my goodness. We are so excited this evening. We have, well, and I'll ask Topeka West to come on up. We have our Senior of the Month. So let's start off with the video. He hasn't seen this video. So after this video is going to go viral. And we're going to post it on our website. Let's go ahead and start with our video. And here's what's great. We have a chief information officer, Mr. Gowan, way from the back, and he's in his last couple months. He's been driving 4 hours to work for Topeka Public Schools for what, 4 years?
6 years.
For 6 years. My, how time flies. And he will be transitioning to care for his family, his father and mother in St. Louis. And he is training our chief information officer, who's been a chief information officer with the state, Mr. Reinert. But the state doesn't have them come to board meetings and run all this technology. So Mr. Reinert is kind of flying solo back here, figuring out all the videos and how to keep up with my tennis shoes. Thank you, Mr. Reinert, and take your time. Take all the time you need. As he pulls up that video, we're going to give him some time to pull this video up. I'm going to turn this over to the principal at Topeka West. We'll start with that. That gives you a little more time. And Mr. Gowan? All right, I'll turn it over to you.
Sure. Thank you, Dr. Anderson, President Tatum, and board members. Thank you for another opportunity to recognize another fine, outstanding Topeka West Charger. So Caleb is a quiet leader. He's just one of the more quiet kids in that senior class probably, but he leads by example. He's just always challenging himself to be better. Really, well, Caleb is the valedictorian of the class of 2024, and he's been involved in so many different activities, from basketball and all the clubs that he's in, NHS and various other activities that he's in. But he was not valedictorian until the end of the first semester of his senior year. So while a lot of seniors oftentimes try to take off their senior year a little bit, maybe take a little easier classes, Caleb challenged himself and took several AP courses and college courses. And through that effort, was able to move beyond the next person in place for the valedictorian position, because he challenged himself and went above and beyond that first semester of his senior year. So it just kind of shows you the kind of kid that Caleb is, just always wanting to be better and be the best that he can be.
Can we show the video?
Absolutely.
Hi, my name is Caleb, and I'm a senior at Topeka West High School. Here I've been a part of athletics. I did soccer for 2 years, did track for a year. I've been doing basketball since I got here. I've also been a part of NHS.
Caleb is just one of those kids that's a quiet leader. He leads through example. He challenges himself to be the best that he can be.
Caleb has definitely grabbed onto that and run with that, and he really is just an outstanding kid.
There's a lot of things that make Caleb stand out for the crowd. I mean, he's just exceptionally bright. He's clever. He'll pick up what you're explaining really quickly. He's curious. Caleb will ask questions about why. That's tremendous, that level of academic curiosity.
I do sports med at TCalc, and the reason I decided to do that is because at the time I was interested in physical therapy, not so much anymore, but that was one of the good things about going there that kind of helped me understand more about what that was going to be like. But it did give me some really good opportunities that kind of opened the door for me to get an internship at Stormont Vale.
TCalc has been a great opportunity for him to get all of those hands-on experience and for him to get that healthcare internship with Stormont Vale. And so he goes to Stormont Vale and does work-based learning, and he is there most of the time during class. It's just going to give him one step ahead. So when he does go to college, he will have a step ahead of maybe some students that haven't had any experience in that role.
Plans after high school are hopefully to major in biology somewhere, don't know where yet, and to go into pre-med. I've always been really interested in medicine, and I think that's what I would like to do with my life. So that's kind of the first step into getting there.
We encourage our students to be the best that they can be, and every opportunity we can give kids to get involved in the community and get involved in internships or getting out and working and contributing back to our community as a whole is a great opportunity, and he's really taking advantage of that.
The advice I would give Caleb is, just continue to work hard. I know you work hard in the classroom and through athletics and all of your other extracurriculars. Volunteer and get as much experience as you can.
Topeka West has definitely been very helpful because it's been great, especially through athletics. It's kind of how I met a lot of the people that I'm friends with. Everybody was really welcoming. All the coaches kind of really helped make me part of the team. So moving here was a really good chance to kind of broaden my horizons a little bit.
So with that, we have a certificate for you, Caleb, and a little something to take to college with you.
Congratulations. Proud of you. I want to see what your gift is. Yes, you can do it now.
So I think he has decided now.
Okay, yep.
Turn it over to our board president.
Thank you, Dr. Anderson. So Caleb, I'm guessing we're going to see you on Saturday, right?
Yep,
All right. How are you feeling about it?
I'm excited. Thankfully I don't have to speak. It's our class president, which I was excited about.
Wait a minute. You don't have any role in it as the valedictorian?
I lucked out. When I found out, that was my first teacher came in and told me that I was going to be valedictorian in my physics class. I said, I'm going to have to speak. He said, no. I said, cool, fine with that.
All right. Well, it sounds like you got a huge group of people who are supporting you, including your parents. And we're certainly going to be egging you, not egging you on. We will be promoting and supporting you as you move forward and do some great things. And sounds like you want to go into medicine. We actually have a couple of physicians that are on the school board that might be willing to give you some tips on that career path. So good luck to you and everything that you do moving forward.
Thank you very much.
My fellow board members, anyone have Mrs. Bowley?
Well, it's been a pleasure to know your parents. They do wonderful things, particularly your dad in our neighborhood. So we thank him for that as well. He texts me all the time. Can you get me this information? I have really enjoyed watching you play basketball. It has just brought a lot of joy to me to watch your team play and watch you in your position play. And thank you for that. It looks like I might be able to watch you on Saturdays playing basketball in the near future, maybe. At KU? Are you going to do
No.
basketball? Oh, I said basketball. No?
No, just
No.
academics for me.
Okay, well then, no, I will not. But I'm so encouraged that you want to be a physician. We have such a need for that. And for you to take that step in that direction, thank you for doing that. And I know Topeka Public Schools have given you a good background for that. So
Thank you.
enjoy your future. We'll celebrate you on Saturday.
Dr. Bonebreak.
demonstrated persistence and perseverance, and being a valedictorian, you've got what it takes to go to medical school. And I would encourage you to continue that path. There's so many options available in medicine. You don't even have to be a doctor, but there's several things and opportunities. The whole world is available in medicine. So hang in there, and I'd encourage you to consider Northwestern, my alma mater, and Creighton University.
Thank you.
Dr. Schumacher.
I'd encourage you to go to KU. And then KU, my alma maters. And I'd agree with Dr. Bonebreak, though. I tell kids a lot of times, 90% of the battle is working hard. And you obviously know how to work hard and be persistent. And I think my question, I think sometimes our students worry about TCALC and maybe that interfering with academics and extracurriculars. And how did you see that fitting into what you were doing and fitting that into your days?
It did kind of throw my scheduling off a little bit because, some classes are only offered in the morning versus afternoon. But for me, it was definitely worth it. I mean, there's a lot of opportunities there you just can't get going to your normal school for all 8 hours. So definitely worth it.
Yeah. And I think in a lot of professions, it's what you know, but it's also who you know, and your ability to do some work study at Stormont and being able to talk to nurses, MAs, LPNs, PAs, nurse practitioners, like the whole gamut. Like I didn't know what all those things were until I became a doctor. So like being exposed to that now, I think will be huge for you in the future. So if you ever need advice, and also Miss Boley, KU does have great intramural sports.
Oh, good.
And I think they would all want Caleb on their team. So, but please know that we are supporting you through this if you ever need anything.
Thank you.
Mrs. Stewart Campbell.
So congratulations. I just have a question. So Mr. Buckendorf mentioned that like many seniors are like, I'm gonna just kind of write it out here. But you were different and you really challenged yourself taking all those AP courses, which pushed you over into the valedictorian. So my question is, what made you want to challenge yourself your senior year and possibly risk having to give a speech at graduation?
To be completely honest, that wasn't really my intention going into it. It's kind of just how it ended up. I knew I needed to take some of those classes to be qualified for some of the scholarships because, I'm trying to get through college. So yeah, that was kind of a driving factor there.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll be taking a picture with you momentarily in about 5 minutes. We're going to call up Ms. McKissick for National Speech Language Hearing Month. And as she shares a little bit about her speech pathologist, when she concludes, we'll be sharing our ShareFest video and then stopping for photos. Ms. McKissick. You can, or you can just share about your.
I will do that.
Either way.
Okay. Thank you for celebrating National Speech and Hearing Month with us, our speech pathologist and our audiologist. Last year, you got to meet the SLPs that serve the preschool population. So I thought I'd flip it this year and bring some SLPs that serve our secondary, so our middle and high school population. Do you guys want to come on up?
Oh, right, okay.
Right. Oh, so this is Allison Gatewood. Do you want to say where you provide services?
Yes, I provide services at Eisenhower Middle School, at McEachern Elementary, and at Cap City in the Next Step program.
Diane Rudler. I am at Topeka West High, French Middle School, Landon Middle School, some of the virtual school, and then if we have placements at JDC, CRE, and FlowCrit.
Amanda Martin, and I'm at Highland Park High School and French Middle School and Highland Park Central Elementary.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dingus, and I provide services at Chase Middle School, Jardine Middle School, JAG, and State Street Elementary.
You guys, Allison has been with the district for 11 years. Yes. Diane has been with the district for 19. This is Amanda. She's just completing her first year with us. And then Michelle has been with the district for 9 years. So do you guys have any board members? Do you have any questions?
Question, Mr. Munoz.
First off, thank you all for all the work that you do. You know, when you think about language and hearing, you know, support for our students, I think little kids, but you are working with the sort of an older population. Could you tell us more about the work that you do with these students?
Oh, okay. Why don't you start?
A lot of the students that we still see at that age maybe have various exceptionalities such as autism. Also students with like learning disabilities, part of that is can be involving language. So we work on using or teaching them longer sentence structures, like through different using conjunction words, things like that. And then there's some kiddos with that good old R that they just don't want to articulate. Anything else?
No, I think for me, I end up serving a lot of our complex students that end up having services all the way through 21 years of age because they use assistive technology. They have complex needs regarding their health and communication. So that's the only thing that I would add.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed working at the high school this year and done primarily some social groups for social pragmatic language skills. So as they transition into the high school, they can learn how to navigate through the school, and it's an entirely different social arena for them to adjust to, and I've really enjoyed it.
Well, the only thing I can think of adding is the kids with fluency disorders who maybe they are stutterers or clutterers. And so that's really all I had to add to that.
Well, thank you all again for the work, helping make sure our students are successful.
Sorry, Mr. Munoz. I was caught up in I know what a stutter is. A clutter, I'm not exactly sure what that is.
It's a lot more rare than stuttering, and that would include kids that have a rapid rate of speech that's so rapid that it causes it to be disordered. So the words are going to crunch together. They're going to be,
The words collapse
yes.
into each other.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of the verbal equivalent of tripping over yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's kind of how I'm I'm a visual learner, so I'm picturing the words. Okay.
But tripping a lot. So.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for that. Anyone else? Mrs. Boley.
So thank you for what you do. You know, it's like Mr. Munoz said, we think about our littles getting a lot of assistance. I was wondering if each of you could kind of give me an idea of your caseloads. It sounded like you all have definitely more than one school. And some of you had, I think, up to 5 schools. And so maybe a caseload that each of you are carrying for us.
It varies for them. It varies throughout the year. Their caseloads tend to be higher at the beginning of the school year. And we move towards more dismissals at the secondary level. So as their caseloads decrease, then they start going out into the other sites and help with evaluations, pick up different kids on caseload that maybe an elementary school SLP might have trouble covering, like Amanda is helping pick up some caseload at HPC. And then we also have, like Allison is serving on our AAC committee. So she goes out and helps with device selection, working with insurance, evaluations. So caseloads, I'm just they kind of start at the beginning anywhere between 40 and 50 students, and then they kind of trickle down. So as they start to get lower, then they start taking on additional responsibilities.
So they're very successful at what they do.
It's our ultimate goal.
Yes. And it sounds like, at high school, you really get to take on that success, don't you? Well, thank you so much. Oh, yes.
I wanted to add, So I started this year as a contractor and decided to go full-time with the school system. And I just wanted to say primarily because the department is so well managed and so wonderful because of Elizabeth. And I
Yes.
really, that was my primary choice.
We're good. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I
We
had-
appreciate you.
Dr. Bonebreak.
We have several schools that have a 50% turnover in 2 or 3 months. And I can see where some of these students that are moving every 2 or 3 months might have more difficulties. But there's continuity, I take it, if moved from school to school, that would be more difficult.
We do a really good job of collaborating. So if a student would move from Robinson to Landon, we do a good job of collaborating with each other in terms of the student, the goals we're working on, their interests, how to best build relationship with that student. So yeah, we try to make it as seamless as possible going into services with a new SLP.
Makes your job that much easier, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
God.
Thank you.
Mrs. Stewart Campbell.
So I say this every year, but I'm saying it again for those who haven't heard it. What you do is really so important. The ability to speak clearly, to be understood, to communicate. And you know that I had an SLP at Miss Jacka. I'll never forget Miss Jack. Do you know her?
Jan, yes.
Jan Jacka?
Yeah.
Okay, this is in the 80s here.
Yes.
So, yeah. Anyway, she taught me how to enunciate that R. It was that R. But I remember I was so self-conscious about it, and other kids were like mean, like, you talk funny. Are you from a foreign country? Maybe that's where my whole interest in other languages first developed. I'm like, well, I'm going to learn another language. But it all Miss Jacka and my SLP taught me how to enunciate. And I will never forget that day coming home from school, telling when Miss Jacka told me that I wasn't going to go to her class anymore. A part of me was really sad because I love Miss Jacka. But then I was like, oh, wait, this means I don't talk funny anymore. So thank you.
Thanks for sharing that.
Thank you.
Thank
Anyone
you.
else? Okay.
That is so much better than reading a proclamation. She asked, should she read the proclamation? I said, you can do that. I can just talk about your team. She said, I think I'd like to do that. So thank you for doing that. Please join us in watching the ShareFest video from a couple of weekends ago. And then we're going to ask Pastor, is it Brody that's here this evening? Perfect. To come on up, Pastor Brody, and you'll get a chance to see this video. They make a video also, and there's so many photos that we've also have one as well. Yes, sir. You don't get to see you. As Pastor Brody comes on up, and often we have Pastor Jeremy, who's not here with us. Ever since he had children, he's not coming up here. I know, that is funny. So Pastor Brody's going to tell us a little bit about how ShareFest. Are we ready to start? I was going to say how we got started.
We are so thankful for all the volunteers that come out to help us beautify all of our campuses. Thanks to amazing community members, devoted and dedicated churches, and all of our leaders and student volunteers that are here today. We are truly able to engage, prepare, and inspire students for a lifetime.
We're doing ShareFest, and this is one of our 12 different sites. The schools are really the central part of our community. We want to come to them and bless them with no strings attached.
We come together as a community of churches and a community in Topeka to just help 501 schools, helping with landscape, helping with paint, and just enjoying that time together.
If you take a look around, we have probably over 30 volunteers here from around the community.
And it's just incredible to see that level of support coming out to our buildings and helping us beautify these spaces.
Oh man, it's amazing. I mean, think what's going on in the world today. We need to come out and support the teachers and stuff like that. Just like support the community. It's a great cause.
I'm out here today because I wanted to help everyone clean up the campus. It's important because having a clean campus impacts the students and what their education is like.
I think it's important for us to partner with any community organization who wants to support what we're doing as far as our educational mission. And churches are first and foremost in wanting to do that. It serves a dual purpose because we get a chance to engage and interact. So do they. People are interested in giving back to the community and being a part of something that's greater than themselves. And so that's why people are volunteering so many years to be a part of the ShareFest program. And we appreciate all the contributions.
Thank you so much to the organizers of ShareFest for putting this event together. This has been an incredible experience, and we are so thankful you're here at Pine Ridge Prep.
Thank you, everyone who's involved with ShareFest. You have no idea how much we appreciate it.
Thank you, ShareFest volunteers. We love you and appreciate you.
Thank you, ShareFest, for all that you guys have done for us.
Thank you so much for investing so much time and energy and loving on Topeka Public Schools. And I know they're going to have questions or comments for you.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you and all the support that you have done to make ShareFest a very successful endeavor. And I enjoy participating in it. And I know a lot of folks, several of us on the board do on a regular basis as well. So thank you for all the things that you do to help make it come together.
Absolutely. Thank you for serving.
You're welcome. Board members, questions, comments? Mr. Munoz.
I just want to say that one of my favorite parts is getting to meet individuals from different churches and connecting in a way that maybe we wouldn't before, all with at the center of our work being service, right? And supporting our schools, all of us united through our common sort of sense of purpose. And so I appreciate you all sort of putting this together every year. Our schools, the neighborhoods in which these schools are appreciate that. That makes a big difference. So thank you all for all the work you do.
Yeah, thank you.
And Pastor Brody, can you share what the largest project was that you accomplished this time? And are there some new churches that have become involved? And any other comment you'd like to share with the board?
Absolutely. So very clearly, Topeka West is just a huge undertaking. I mean, I can't imagine. There's someone out there who knows the amount of tons of mulch that we spread on that morning. But there was a lot of projects done at Topeka West. I still want to make it out just to walk around and just see the after effect of what 100 volunteers at a site can do in one morning. There were a total of 800 people this year who served. There are 12 total sites, 7 of them being Topeka Public Schools. And we actually had, I counted 800. We had people who they disobeyed and they didn't register at all and they just showed up. And so we got projects done way quicker than we expected to. We have a team that works for 8 months on ShareFest to make it happen. And they plan it strategically so that it should get done right at 12. Well, sites are getting done at 10:30, sending to other sites. And so to a word of encouragement, especially after COVID, that means we might be able to increase substantially for next year on the projects that we do. And so I know that's been a question in the past. And so I'm encouraged to be able to tell you that we certainly will be able to increase for next year with the amount of volunteers.
That's awesome. Yeah, great.
Any questions?
Mrs. Bowling.
How many churches are involved now?
Yeah, so I believe there were 26 churches and a total of 10 different businesses or organizations that came along and either sponsored or showed up with volunteers. And so a lot of people.
That is a lot of organization. Who actually does the organization of all that?
Well, it's me and a team of 8 volunteer leaders. And
Oh,
so
wow.
I've got a group of volunteers that are retired guys that, man, they put in so much work and energy into it. This year I had to sit there and think, man, if I didn't have James, he owns Cornerstone Construction, not construction, but landscaping. He does all of the site plans.
Oh,
If I didn't
wow.
have him, I would probably be working 80-hour work weeks for about 2 months. And so,
Oh, my
yeah. And
goodness.
so there is a lot of hands that go into it. And Pastor Jeremy has passed it on to me to take the charge and lead that team. And so it is a lot of work, but it's worth it to serve such an amazing community. And so,
Thank you.
yeah.
And to serve all of our children in our community as well.
Yeah,
Thank you for
absolutely.
that. We so appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay.
If we could stop for a moment and take a photo and start with Pastor Brody and then go to our Senior of the Month and our speech pathologist. All right, Pastor Brody, if you come right on up.
All right. The next thing on our agenda is public communications. And it would appear that we have one person who would like to address the board tonight. Sir? It looks like this gentleman is here. Please come forward and state your name and address for the record. You have 3 minutes to address the board. We ask that your remarks to the board be respectful. As school board members, we have to make sure the privacy rights of all USD 501 employees are protected. If you have a complaint against a specific employee, please submit your written complaint to the superintendent. If your comments are about an employee, please provide general information only, along with your opinion about the employee's contributions and strengths. Please do not defame other employees or make accusations about an employee. Board Policy 2050 requires all complaints to be made and resolved at the lowest administrative level. When a complaint is made directly to the board, is referred to the superintendent and building principal for investigation and resolution. Thank you, sir. And you have 3 minutes. You may begin.
Thank you. I'm Lloyd Fleming, 3708 Southwest 34th Street, District 3. Statistical information I'm giving you comes from the Kansas Department of Education. I am concerned. I'm concerned about the future of USD 501. Our tax base is stagnant. Our student enrollment is declining. We have the highest percentage of low-income students and the highest percentage of students performing below grade level of all the Shawnee County school districts. We as educators are contributing to the vicious cycle of poverty. Highland Park High School celebrated when they graduated 90% of the senior class in 2023. Sounds good. What's the real story? Is the unacceptable number of students that were not proficient in math and English. How can we celebrate when only 2.2% were proficient in math and 8.8% proficient in English? Because of their educational deficiency, they will enter the world like their parents, in low-income jobs or reliant on government welfare. What's worse, graduating students, not college or career ready, or our indifference as educators to our students' future and conducting business as usual. We must do better. As a district, our expectations for our students are too low. Our acceptance of mediocrity is inexcusable. We must return our focus to student merit, achievement, and earned grades. We must have a goal of 100% of our students performing at grade level. This is a war, folks, a war against poverty and multiple generations of uneducated Topekans. Now, I really believe this. I believe that the USD 501 staff and the school board members are really, really good people. And you are not a part of the corrupt, deep state elitist destroying our schools. But a wake-up call is needed. And the real question for you folks is, are we ready to make Topeka schools great again? The future of our students, our district, and our city is at stake. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right. So the next item on our agenda is disposition of business by consent. And I'm looking for a motion to do exactly that.
I move the board approve the items of business by consent as presented and authorize the board president or superintendent to sign the special project and purchasing contracts for and on behalf of the board.
Thank you, Dr. Schumacher. Do I have a second? Mrs. Boley seconds. Thank you. Any discussion? Okay, we will move to vote. All right, thank you, everyone. So then that takes us to the superintendent's report.
Oh, I'm back here talking to Mr. Fleming. That's an old pal. Tomorrow, we're gonna meet at the college prep tomorrow and have a little conversation.
All right.
Fleming is a volunteer. Do you still volunteer at Whitson or McClure?
Whitson and McClure.
Whitson and McClure, two Challenge Award winning schools, Whitson and McClure. So we're gonna get a chance to spend some time with Mr. Fleming tomorrow. And we thank you, Mr. Fleming, for
After
being.
my career in the corporate world, I was at Bishop for 7 years as a Title I para. And then for the last 8 years, I volunteered at Whitson and now at McClure.
We appreciate you, Mr. Fleming. Don't give
Thank
him
you for your service.
because we had a board meeting that I still have, but I'm gonna see you tomorrow. Sometimes people talk and they don't know what happens after. And, they don't know, am I gonna get a letter or are you gonna respond? So I just popped back to let Mr. Fleming know that we'll have a chance to talk tomorrow, talk about some of the schools, invite Dr. Kip to share a little bit about performance. Test scores
Okay.
are just coming in, so they're not official yet. They're very preliminary because it just came in today. But we're excited about some of what we're seeing. And on that note, we also know that there are opportunities to continue to grow and develop. So we'll be meeting tomorrow. in that
Thank you,
regard.
Dr. Anderson.
Having said that, that is a wonderful segue into talking about academics and our biliteracy seal, as well as what we're doing with our supports for our families. So Dr. Mejia will be coming forward. And tonight, like last year, she will be giving an update. Last year, she talked about refugee support, and we were really a year into some of this work. Now it's a year later, so she'll give an update on that, and she'll give an update on the seal of biliteracy. So we'll turn it over to Dr. Mejia.
Thank you, Dr. Anderson. Good evening, Mr. President, board members, and the rest of the members here. It is with great excitement that as I finish this second year in this role, to share with you the things that we have accomplished and the growth that our scholars have made in terms of earning seal biliteracy and the families that we have been able to welcome and support throughout the district. So in the picture, I had to get creative there to show you, are the gold and silver medallions that the scholars wear at graduation, as well as stickers that go on their diplomas to show that they have earned these seals. Some statistics and comparable data between the schools last year and this year. At Highland Park High School, we had 41 seniors participating and 19 of them earned the silver seal. That is over 50% increase from last year. So I want to give Highland Park High School a huge shout out for the tremendous effort and work that they put in. Ms. Julie Watson and Mr. Aaron Epke were instrumental in making this happen. And so we are really excited for them being truly on the map, and they will continue to increase, and we're going for gold. Topeka High School had 37 seniors participate, and 25 of them earned the seal. There were 20 scholars last year who earned it, and so we are also excited to see the growth there. Topeka West High School had 32 seniors participate, and 9 of them earned silver medals and 1 of them earned gold. So Topeka West has the only gold this year. Last year it was Topeka High. We will continue to work on strategies to push the students who have taken this stamp assessment in previous years to continue to take it so they can work towards earning gold, because they can. So talking about the diversity, and Mr. Tatum, you went first, but I had the ideas first. I was telling Dr. Kip, how does he know what's in my head? I was going to say and mention the beauty of the diversity of this district. Sitting around here and seeing so many different people from so many different backgrounds is absolutely incredible, as well as our student population, teacher population. The languages that we have represented just in the Seal by Literacy earners are Filipino, specifically Tagalog, French, Mandarin, Spanish, Swahili, and Ukrainian, compared to last year's Spanish and Swahili. So not only are we growing in how many seals we have earned, but also in the languages in which we earn them, which is fantastic. So, and we have 45 countries represented in Topeka Public Schools. How is that not a clear example of the legacy of the giants on whose shoulders we stand to be able to get here and be this? We don't have this. We are this. And with that, 79 languages are represented. And of course, Native American languages are included in that. So it's only a beautiful tapestry of richness and wealth that we all share to become just a better person individually and as a group. The seal, brief history, we went from 15, this was before me, 15 seals total in Topeka Public Schools in 21-22, to 44 the following year. That was a 193% increase. And of course, maintaining that is a goal, however, maybe not realistic. The goal is to continue growing and to continue pushing the goal. And between last year and this year, we grew 23%. But a 260% increase in just 2 years. So that's fantastic. There's a gnat over here. I'm not going crazy. So yes, go ahead, celebrate. Because, these scholars are doing the work. The teachers are doing the work, the counselors. So I want to shout out Ms. Annette Riddle at Topeka West. I want to shout out Ms. Paige Murray at Topeka High School. I want to shout out Ms. Laura Nichols at Topeka West. I already shouted out Highland Park, Go Scots, and all the rest. But without them, nothing would happen. There has to be a team. So I can dream all I want, but if I don't have the people to do the actual work, this wouldn't be possible. So this is huge celebration, a huge celebration. Next, please. Okay.
If you have any questions about the Seal of Biliteracy as she prepares to talk about refugees, while we're on this topic, we're going to open it up for questions.
I do have a question. I am just really mystified by the fact that there were 2 languages that we attained in 2023, and there were 3 times as many in 2024. And that's not even including the fact that there's 79 languages represented in Topeka Public Schools in total. What drove that sudden uptick in the languages that we acquired?
Great question. Like 2 days last year ago, this board presentation was about the system that we created to really boost information, knowledge, accessibility, identifying all the scholars that actually are eligible to take the seal and putting it out there to parents, to the scholars themselves, to the schools. So being able to have more knowledge and information about who can take it diversifies our group who takes it in turn. So not only that, but we are also working with KSDE to pretty soon have Native American languages represented in the Seal of Biliteracy. This is not just Topeka Public Schools, of course. This is the state of Kansas. And so, it's a whole group of team of people here locally and statewide that continue to promote and work hard to celebrate this. These stickers and these medallions also are, a product of the partnership that we have with KU, the Semilla Project. And they are also the ones funding every single assessment. So that, even though it's one of our pillars and not pillars, but one of our strategic plan goals, making sure that we have the funding to support such a large number of scholars who qualify is critical. And though I know Topeka Public Schools and the board will continue to support that, having partners who can help us relieve some pressure from other budgetary needs is critical. So all in all, it's just a wonderful team of people promoting biliteracy and culture.
Dr. Mejia, I feel like you're getting ready to launch into a sermon or something.
I'll invite Dr. Anderson to do that.
Thank you. Dr. Bonebreak, I know you had your hand.
I was wondering, what's the difference between a gold and silver seal?
Great question. So in order to earn the silver seal, there are several, basically 3 categories with subcategories of proficiency in the STAMP test. Please don't ask me what STAMP stands for right now, but it's something about language and I don't know, and test. But anyway, the novice, the intermediate, and the advanced. So you have to earn for each of the domains of language, reading, writing, listening, and speaking, at least a 4, which is intermediate, mid level. So that gets you the silver, but it has to be in each separately, not a composite score. Then that's a 4. When you get a 7, that is like low advanced or higher, you get the gold. So, you know, we look at the data because these data also go back to the school. They have access to every single, the reports are great. They present little pyramids or inverted pyramids to show where the students fell in each domain. We can see who might have been really close to a gold, but one of the domains brought them down and it's a silver. So we can continue to work with those scholars to make sure that they get encouraged. And now that they've seen the assessment, they are more confident. An example, that student, Pavlo or Pasha Levchenko, earned his Ukrainian seal by literacy. He's a senior or a junior this year. No, a senior. Oh my gosh, Pasha. So he took it last year and he was thrown off by the test. It was just something he didn't know much about. This year he said, I got it. Give me that thing again. And he earned it. He earned it. He is Ukrainian. And in order for you to attain this as well, you must demonstrate competency in English and at least one other language. So all these kids are proficient in English by CELPA, ACT, AP, or CAP.
All right.
Mhm.
Fantastic. My mind is blown. I know I saw some other hands up. Is that right? She's just that good. Mrs. Stewart Campbell.
Oh, Dr. Mejia, I share your passion for all of this.
Yes.
And our linguistic diversity is exceptional. I didn't realize we were up to 79.
Yeah.
That's wow.
And the 79 include, you know, dialects from within the 45 countries. So it is just hugely diverse. It's beautiful. Like Quiche, we have students from South America whose native language is Quiche, which is an indigenous language, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yes, et cetera. So my question, well, first of all, congratulations. This is an enormous accomplishment.
It goes
have
to them,
surged.
but thank you.
So yes, to everyone involved. My question is, just now, like you mentioned, like Quechua, you know, spoken in South America. I'm
Yep.
thinking of migrant families that we have from Guatemala who speak like Quiche or Chu. So languages, does the STAMP, which by the way, I Googled it, and the STA stands for standards based, and then the MEM is for measurement and proficiency. So no wonder we don't remember that.
Okay.
But anyway, that's what it stands for. So my question is, does the STAMP, since it measures the 4 domains of listening, speaking, reading, writing, is there a stamp that can, I'm thinking of our students who like speak Quiche, but they don't read or write it.
Yes.
So what do we do there? Or some of our native people who maybe their language is no longer written.
Absolutely, great question. The stamp is split into like 4S, 4 skills, all the skills you mentioned, or a 2W, so WS, or 4WS or 2WS, something like it's the word speak. For example, I believe Ukrainian and ASL have just the word speak because, well, I don't know why Ukrainian, but for ASL, you are not going to speak it. You're going to gesture it. And so there are some that have different categories of languages to demonstrate your competency. Absolutely.
Okay, great. So like a Guatemalan Quiche speaker could be up here one day.
If STAMP offers it, yes.
Okay, and do we just use STAMP?
There are multiple other assessments. Apple, not spelled like Apple, of course. And I mean, I cannot tell you. There's a whole variety of assessments, but through some research, we have decided on STAMP. It is pretty straightforward. However, if there were other languages, such as those that are offered in other assessments, we would definitely consider them.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
Anyone else?
Well, I do have more, but I'm going to wait because I know she's not done yet with
Right.
her.
Okay,
with her
fair enough.
presentation.
The next slide is really about our refugees, but you can think back to, we've come a long way with our biliteracy seal from where we were to where we are now.
Yes.
And it is certainly a celebration. We can hear your passion, which is great, Dr. Mia.
Well, okay, then if we are not going to talk anymore about the seal of biliteracy, then I will ask this question. I noticed that on the like Facebook pages that Topeka West, Topeka High, they were showcasing the recipients of the seal of biliteracy, which is great. I don't know if Highland Park did. I might have missed it.
Their results came later. Because there's the window of testing, and so they may find out results later. I am sure that Mr. Ebke, Ms. Watson, Mrs. Jardina, whoever is on it. I wrote an email to Ms. Watson and Mr. Ebke. Ms. Watson was heavily involved this year in the midst of end of year, graduation, et cetera. There was a situation where it required that of her, and she was like, we're a family, we're here, we're a team, amazing, and look at the results. So I'm sure that's coming.
Yes. Yeah. So my overall question was like, what all are we doing to further like promote it? Because I mean, because look at all these new recipients. So like, how are students learning about it to even want to take it?
So Dr. Kip, my right hand, prepares a full report on who meets the criteria. That is anyone whose native language is not English per the home language survey, anyone in world languages, anyone in dual language, anyone who is EL, and I believe that's it. And that means that the English natives qualify as well because they are either in dual language or in world languages. So it's a huge group of students. So he puts that together for me, and then I share that with the counselors at the schools, and they meet with the kids. Next year, it's happening, is that, here it goes, counselors, newsflash. I want them to meet one-on-one with the seniors so that we encourage more seniors to take it. And if we have any of the scores banked from, a junior or sophomore, to go, if they earned the silver, to go to gold. So, I mean, there are conversations. Last year, we sent out flyers and postcards to every family from 4th grade to 12th grade who qualified. And so next year, we don't need to do that every year, but next year we'll probably do it again.
Okay, great. That's really great. At the schools, in the buildings, is there any during the morning report? But I'm just thinking about the kids, like, so other kids, they're like, oh, he was on the morning report. He got the seal of biliteracy. I want to do that. Are we doing anything like that?
I can't speak to the morning reports, but I can speak to the banners, and I have
Banners.
some in back order. But to see the banners, they're huge. I don't know how big they are, but they are huge. And to see the years, like, I don't know, 18, 19, two little names there. To last year, that was like, and so each school gets that. That is a big celebration, a big to-do, because you can't miss them. They're big.
Oh,
So
that's great. So those banners are in the high schools.
yeah, well, some in Brooklyn, they
okay.
will be
Yeah.
soon.
Yeah. And also, I think at graduation, there's like an asterisk, or they'll be asked to stand.
Yes, there's something to denote that the students earned the seal, plus it goes on their diploma, plus it goes on their transcripts, plus they wear the medallions. So it's not subtle.
It was nice at Topeka High's event last night, their scholarship night last night after the Cap City graduation. They actually had it as part of scholarship night. And I don't remember that the year prior, but they did have it last night where every student, the language, Topeka West did the same thing. I think that's another added piece. And so one of the things we can do when the high school principals meet, we can ask Mr. Dick to see what all are they doing. So there's some unified things, maybe across all three schools, to your point of making sure when the parents looking at one school and the next, they can say that there's a unified way in which they're celebrating and perhaps learning from one another about great things they're doing to highlight their young people.
Wonderful. Okay. Gracias.
A ti.
Okay, I think we're ready to continue.
I'll keep this short. So this is not just about refugees. This is about supporting newly arrived families. Not because refugee is a self-disclosure, and not all Ukrainians are refugees, and not all refugees, are made equal, so to speak. So newly arrived families, what are the supports that we provide? Enrollment, I guide, I sit with them, I do it for them until I know that they're ready to do it themselves. School placement, I get phone calls, we have a child, these are the characteristics. I'm like, there could be a better placement. I work with the EL department, with Dr. Kip, we place them. Transportation, Chromebooks, school supplies, employment in and out of the district, and community involvement. There are, events and things that happen outside, and I make sure that the families are aware and participate and join and do community building and fellowship. Currently, specifically speaking of Ukrainians, and like new families I've worked with are from Colombia, from Guatemala, from Mexico. So it's broader than Ukraine. 38 Ukrainian students in Topeka Public Schools. You see the number in each of the schools, and you might remember that everybody was either at Shaner or Jardine. Look at how we have diversified that, because parents wanted choice. So we, of course, allow them to do that. And also, if they believed that their scholar would be either geographically for the parent, because some work in the school that's closest to them, like McEachran, of course, go there. And also they believe my student would be better in a smaller school, or my student would do better in a setting with only English type stuff. Then we support that. And then with employment, this is what we have right now. I can't see, is it 10? Yes, 10 Ukrainian parents are now part of Topeka Public Schools, and that's the schools where they are working right now. And it's fantastic. They are amazing. Everybody loves them. Everybody wants more of them. And we also help place families from, or parents from other cultures, such as, talking about current status of their employment. Is there something we could do to improve that for you? So we have those discussions, and it's just a great open conversation to help out the families in any way we can. Questions?
Yeah, the employment, what types of jobs are the Ukrainians doing at our schools?
Yes, so we have at Shaner, we have a learning loss para and preschool para. At Jardine Elementary, we have food service, EL para, and as of recently, an EL certified substitute teacher working on her licensure for the United States. At Lowman Hill, we have an IIC, that's the intensive instruction classroom. At McEachran, we have another IIC para. At Meadows, we have 2, and they are in the PIP preschool and in SPED. And at Robinson, it's also the IIC classroom.
That's great.
One thing I will point out that Dr. Mia also helps them get jobs in other places. And some of our Ukrainian families have opened businesses.
Yes, yes, they still work, but they have purchased businesses in the field that they're experts at, and do both while they, break even. It's amazing, the work ethic, the hard work, the resiliency of these individuals. And it's been an honor for me to get to know them and learn from them.
So as we reflect on that for all of our refugee families, the intentionality was sharing, if you need a job, you can work for us. We can help you find a job if you want to work somewhere else closer to where you live. That's that wraparound services around all families that we feel is critical, that we'll continue to do even more and more of. And we have some partners that have linked up with us, one of which is University of Kansas Health Center at St. Francis. Mr. King, who oversees a lot of the operational pieces, is willing to give anyone an immediate interview that we send them the name of. So it's really been nice to see businesses in this community partnering with us to help place families, any of our refugee families that come with the ability to work and have their work permit. Lastly, I just want to say thank you to Dr. Mejia. She's exceptional in this role and has helped us increase in so many ways, from the seal of biliteracy, but also to just wrapping services around people. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Anderson.
Thank you
very
Dr.
much.
Mejia. This makes me very proud of Topeka Public Schools.
That really does conclude our report. I will share and we'll bring up very briefly the item that was already emailed to you. It is out in the state because KSDE released the Challenge Awards, but you will not be recognizing schools until August or September. However, Mrs. Wallace and I will be visiting schools throughout. Are we visiting tomorrow? Tomorrow and on Tuesday. So before their final day, they'll be able to have a visit, and we'll be celebrating those schools. But we'll just mention who those schools are, as the state has already shared these. Chase Middle School, it's great because 4 of them are in East Topeka. And to receive a Challenge Award, again, we have the link there for you, and it's been shared with you as well. But to receive a Challenge Award, you would have had to increase in performance and have met the challenge that the state has put forward for your particular school. So Chase Middle School, Marjorie French Middle School, McCarter Elementary School, McEachran Elementary School, Quincy Elementary School, Scott Dual Language, State Street Elementary School, and Whitson Elementary School. And again, I believe we've already sent you that email, but you will see these folks again in Kansas Department of Education here at our board meeting in August or September. So this year we have 8 of our schools as challenge schools, and we have a total of $14 million in scholarships. And we're excited about that as well. With that, I believe that does conclude the pieces that we have to share. There's a work session listed, but that is if you have questions about any of the components that we have talked about.
Right. So any other last questions or comments about any of this? Otherwise, we will move on to the next part of our agenda. And we're at the bottom of the agenda, which means board member comments. Oh. We do, oh,
The approval of, we discussed last time the graduation rates.
That's
and
right.
Policies, and we just need you to take action and approve the graduation rates and policies. We will share, we might have to come back to you at a later time should the state change direction with some of the graduation rates. Ms. Wallace and I were talking earlier today. There was some discussion with, I believe, some feedback from other districts across the state. Now, our feedback is just set the bar and we'll do our best to meet and exceed it. But there is one item that I think they're getting feedback about, and then they might change this rule, which we would come back to you on that one item. Ms. Wallace, you want to share a little bit about that?
So yes, at today's meeting with KSTE, they shared there has been some pushback from districts around the 100% completion of the FAFSA. So they are taking that back to the board, the State Board of Education, to have more conversation.
Even with the waiver, being able to sign the waiver?
Yes.
What is the state board's position? Do we know? The state board can't change the legislation. That's kind of where my thought is on it.
Well, the graduation requirements are developed by.
Oh, at the state board level, not the legislature.
Correct.
Okay.
So the state board can change that, and, you know, and perhaps some of that pushback are students who leave early, who go to the military, who go to these other places. But to Mrs. Schmidt's point, there is a waiver that you can sign as well. I suspect schools perhaps with high homeless populations and other kinds of challenges, some of our rural schools, they might have a hard time tracking young people down to sign the waiver, you know, as they change homes, and that may be a challenge as well. And our position is that we sit silent, and whatever they adopt as the rule, we will certainly abide by and bring to you. So we're asking for still approval tonight, and should there be a change, then we will come back to you on that, just that one item.
Okay. Okay.
So we just need someone to make a motion for that
Okay.
action.
So looking for a motion on the action item?
I move to approve the proposed policy and regulation changes as presented and discussed at the last meeting.
Okay. Thank you. Do we have a second? Mrs. Stewart Campbell? Any further discussion? Okay, we'll vote on it.
Vote is open. All votes are in and the motion carries unanimously.
All right, thank you. Okay, now we're ready for board member comments. All right. It's been such a busy week. I must have just been ready to get us all out of here. So I think we'll start with Dr. Bonebreak down the other end.
Okay. Well, the consent agenda, we approved what was discussed and some large expenses like repair of the track at Hummer, because Hummer is recognized as sort of a good place to go for regional meets, potentially state meets. And to fix it, if we don't, it's liable to spill over onto the football field, which could cost us another $400K to fix it with drainage going the wrong directions. The health committee, thanks to the negotiations of Mr. Robbins, we have one more year where the rates can't go up, but in October 2025, they may go up 20 to 30% for our health insurance. And we won't have LR there to negotiate. So maybe we can bring him back for that. No comment. The wellness committee is still working on this exercise area, but I'm just not sure we're going to get a $250,000 financing to put that somewhere. That's all I have.
Okay, interesting. Mrs. Stewart Campbell.
Yes. All right. So I'll start with the Head Start policy. We met and there's not much to report other than that our continuation grant is due on August 1st, and our.
Mrs. Stewart Campbell, can you please move
Yeah.
closer to the mic? Thank you.
So the continuation grant for Sheldon Head Start is due on August 1st, and our fabulous staff under Ms. Tanner, they'll be completing that application, and then we'll receive a packet to approve. And then once that's approved, it goes to, well, first approved by the Head Start Policy Committee and then us, and then it's submitted to the Office of Head Start, and then the new grant year will begin, because it will be approved. And the new grant year will begin on November 1st of this year. So that's that. And today the timing is uncanny. Okay, so I was invited today to be a guest for the Topeka Rotary Club. And the speaker was Yana Ross from Top City Promise. And I wish Dr. Mejia and Dr. Kip were still here, because I wanted to save this for board member comments. So I learned all about Top City Promise, and I want to share it with you all. Dr. Mejia and Dr. Kip are both on their board, yes. And so the flyer, the refugees are here, you can help. So I just want to tell you a little bit about Top City Promise. And the Topeka community, they welcomed the first refugee families on April 10th of 2022. And then just a year ago, in March of 2023, Top City Promise became a nonprofit 501c3, which have allowed them to do so much. I mean, it's really, really impressive, everything that they're doing. Their mission is to offer hope and support to refugees by providing them with a safe place to live in Topeka and surrounding areas, connecting them with the necessary resources to establish a new life, and are dedicated to fostering a welcoming community that embraces diversity, promotes integration, and empowers refugees to thrive as they rebuild their lives. A few statistics. So 92% of the refugee families here in Topeka, most of whom attend Topeka Public Schools, those with kids, have become financially independent through the Top City Promise program. 84% of these refugees are women and children. So the fathers are left behind or deceased. And 63% now own a car. So a lot of our Ukrainians don't know how to drive because there's public transportation is very common in Europe. So Top City Promise is also teaching them how to drive. And now 63% own a car. So they're asking for donations, and with the donations, that helps with 3 months of expenses, which they just show up with a suitcase. That's it. They show up with a suitcase. So they need a place to live. And so the donations, they also have some grants now that they're a 501c3, but they ask for donations to help furnish the apartments and also getting a vehicle grant. If anyone wants to learn more, you can go to www.topcitypromise.org. And I learned today that they want to expand it. And Mr. Munoz, I thought you would particularly take interest in this, considering your work at El Centro. They currently, it's only Ukrainians, but they want to expand to other countries. So
Great.
I don't know if you were aware of that, but yeah, they want to welcome people from all over the world. Anyway, just very, very impressive. So, and yeah, my family is going to be hosting a Ukrainian girl. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. I'm going to meet her through video on Sunday. And then we're going to pick her up at the airport in August. Yeah, she's going to live with us for a while, and she'll go to Topeka High. So
Right.
I know, I'm so excited.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Stewart Campbell.
So thank you.
Mrs.
Oh,
Bowler.
and I can't wait for
Oh.
graduation. Woohoo. See everybody at
Yes.
graduation.
Also at our finance committee meeting, we talked about all the summer projects that will be happening to improve all of our buildings for our students in Topeka Public Schools. So that's always exciting. Personnel Committee, we learned that we have less openings this year than we did last year. And so they're working hard at filling those. So there's some stabilization after COVID and all the shortages. So that's nice to know. I also wanted to ask Mr. Tatum, we haven't had a report about the ICC meetings. So maybe a report on what's occurring there.
The ICC meeting.
And Mr. Tatum, that ICC meeting, and it happens once a month, and it's one of the meetings kind of on that scheduled list. I attend, and Mr. Robbins periodically, well, he generally attends, but as he's getting closer to retirement, and we've had various weather issues, Mr. Robbins hasn't attended the last couple of meetings. But I certainly can add that into the update as well when those happen. But it's a different chairperson. Last year I was a chairperson, but it's government officials that come together at 7 in the morning, and they talk about whatever the topic is. I think that
Okay. I don't know that I've received an invite. So if I'm supposed to be being a part, I do remember seeing it because I think Dr. Schumacher is my backup for that. But yeah, I don't know that I've ever gotten an invite to go to that meeting. So I'd be willing to make that happen.
And if you
I
don't want to
did.
get up at 7, I'm always there. Always there listening to the presentation, and we'll bring it back to you. But I'll make sure to share those dates as well again, and the update on Friday.
Thank you. Please continue, Ms. Bowen.
I also wanted to report that last night at the Topeka High Awards Assembly, $9.5 million of scholarships was awarded to our students. And so that is just terrific to further educate our kids. It was really wonderful to see all of the awards that were put out last night. As we come to a close in our school year, I wanted to thank our teachers. I think this is our last meeting when everybody will still be in session. I want to thank our music department for all the wonderful music programs that I saw this year. Our theater department for putting on just extraordinary events, our sports, our coaches, all the entertainment that they gave me this year. I just want to thank them for all of their success, and in the classroom with $9 million of scholarships, and that's just one high school. And also I wanted to thank our district for recognizing a day for Brown versus Board. I think that's so important. I really appreciate that we're recognizing that, putting it in place. I'm hoping that eventually we'll create some curriculum for our schools to work around that, to learn more. And it was just a really beautiful reception tonight, and all those people that were there, I know they appreciated it. So thank you.
All right. Thank you. Mrs. Schmidt.
A couple things. First, I know that we have the survey results linked out on the website. A lot of people, I've gotten some feedback from that it's kind of difficult to find on our website. So I don't know if we can just email a link out to everyone, say, hey, this is where it's at, because they're looking for that. They want to be able to kind of scroll through and digest it on their own. And even though I've told them, the people that have come forward and said, hey, I haven't seen it, and I'm like, it's out there, I've checked. If we can just make it a little bit easier for them to access
And I
that.
think we put it in the C News, but it's the end of the year. It's a great time to say you're going over the summer. You want some bedtime reading? And so we'll do it just that way and put the link there. And then maybe we'll also put it on the front page. We have it on the HR page. We have it on your page. But it should be in so many places that any page a person goes to that they would naturally go to. So we'll do that as well. We'll send the email back out again, put it in the C News as well.
That'll be great. Just
Yes,
so
ma'am.
do our due diligence.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm looking forward to the graduations we have on Saturday. It was fun to see the graduating faces that we were a part of on Wednesday with Cap City and with Hope Street, and that being Mr. Knowles' last graduation. It was very bittersweet, I know, for many. I want to tell all of our teachers and staff to enjoy summer. But in speaking with a friend the other day, social media, we always put a certain a certain light on things that we put on social media, all the good stuff, right? Oh, I won the lottery. Oh, here's my new car. I got a great new job. And I had happened to take something to a friend, and we were talking about some similar health experiences and that we had gone through, and some similar experiences with our children and mental health issues. And, she wrote me later and said, it's nice to know that other people are going through the same thing that I am. And she says, because so often we don't put that forward facing to public, or, we want to keep it private, or we don't want to talk about it because we're embarrassed or ashamed, or, it's just not our happiest moment. So that made me think, with summer coming, a lot of times we lose those day-to-day connections with people in our classrooms, teachers, and those friendships that are made. So I just really want to encourage our staff to reach out to your people over the summer, even if it's just to say, hey, I was thinking about you, want to make sure you're having a good summer. Is there anything I can do? Because it's hard for people that are in a hard spot to reach out. So if we could be a little bit proactive about that when we lose that day-to-day touch, it was just a thought. And then I think that's all I got. Looking forward to Saturday.
All right. Ditto. Mr. Munoz.
I'll be very quick. I'll just echo what Ms. Bowley said about thank you to all of the teachers who were putting together music programs. I think there was one day there was 9 music programs in one day. And so that was one of those days I was away. And field days, there are trips to zoos and museums. So thank you to all the teachers who've put together last of the year events to sort of help our kids finish their school year on such a positive note. I also had an opportunity to stop by the adaptive field day, which was not too long ago. So I was able to touch base with staff, and as well as parents who enjoyed seeing their students being able to engage in different ways. And so that's always a great way to sort of end the school year. Other than that, I will wrap us up and just look forward to Saturday, as has been said.
All right. Dr. Schumacher.
I don't know that I have much to add. It's a lot of echoing what's already been said, and appreciation and looking forward to continued success. I would say that, which I think we'll circle back around to, but we talked last time about cell phones and kind of the talk that we had done in technology committee a little bit. And so I think being able to follow that up at future board meetings and kind of work on that a little bit more, because it does seem like there's some momentum behind that. But for now, it's really celebrating this last week and looking forward to Saturday for me.
Yeah. So on that note, Dr. Schumacher, I would add that I know the policy committee is looking at the cell phone policy and things that we might be able to do to address the issue. And there's several different ideas, and before too long, we will be able to bring something back to the main body in order to have a fuller discussion about the direction that we recommend to go in. So that's been something that the policy committee's been thinking about. Other than that, I would echo what almost everyone said. I don't have a whole lot to add. I know Dr. Bonebrake and Ms. Bowley covered the discussion in the finance committee. This past couple of weeks has just been like bam, 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 bam. I mean, between graduations and retirements and 70th anniversary celebrations and school musical events and things like that. This has just been just draining in some ways and elating in other ways. And I know you guys know what I'm talking about, because Saturday will be a tough day to do all those graduations back to back to back. But when we're done with it, it's such a feeling of elation and accomplishment. It really is, despite all the grueling work that you all know goes into it. I leave graduations on Saturday walking on cloud nine. It really is one of my favorite days of the year. So we will look forward to doing that together on Saturday at 8:20 is when we're going to meet down at the Stormont Vale Event Center. Be sure to have your parking pass already on your rear view mirror when you get there.
I'm gonna sell this.
So yeah, we did. I was like, wait, I already have one of these. So Dr. Gray was probably just making sure that everybody had one for sure. So looking forward to Saturday, and then we will wrap this year up the right way. All right, looking for a motion to adjourn.
I move the meeting adjourned.
All right, do we have a second? Okay, Mrs. Schmidt seconds. Any further discussion? Okay, show of hands. Okay, I think it's unanimous. We're adjourned. It's fair.